Alright, I'll start by giving a disclaimer that if you see me in the same outfit or anything like that, one of two things happened. Either I had more than one idea in a single day and I just pumped them out, and then you're seeing it posted staggered throughout time, or your boy just didn't get to laundry. So, in this case scenario, I've been having a very inspiration given day. I could have phrased that better, but you know what I mean. Anyway, I wanted to talk about the idea of free will. And recently I've been seeing a lot of things about it in terms of memes about people moving throughout the world and exercising free will and things like that. And it's a concept that isn't new, obviously, but it's something that is fascinating because it's not exercised enough by people in general. We usually live in the confines of what we believe are rules we're supposed to abide by, which is mostly true if it's anything that's harmful. But when it comes to ability, usually we don't exercise it to the upteenth degree that we could. And I'm not an exception to this. And I wanted to share some examples of my life that maybe resonate with you. And I wrote some down, which I found really interesting in this past week, but are funny because it's just like, why not? So, one is wearing purple shorts to the gym. Now, for the longest time in my gym career, about 13 years now, I've always worn dark colors, gray or black, and I believe that that was the standard of what a man should wear when he's in the gym. And that's funny because no one told me to do that. It was just me. I'd abide by these made up rules, and so I only wore that. And a lot of times, of course, in the beginning, I felt chic and cool, mysterious, or whatever. But over time, it gets dead, it gets boring, and that translates into my workouts. And I just don't feel inspired a lot of times. And you think that a lot of things has to do with like the basic things like sleep, energy, hydration, stuff like that. But having an aesthetic, putting on something that makes you feel confident can really change the intensity, the trajectory of how great you come out of that space when you're done. And I saw it in the last few years, and so I started to incorporate things that I liked. Now, it started with workout clothes that incorporated anime. I'm a geek like that. Soon, I'm gonna put up some stuff on these walls so I can give more of my personality. Maybe we could have conversations about that. But yeah, for the most part, I would incorporate things that had to do with anime, stuff like that. And I enjoyed wearing those things until those things also became dead because I also felt like those were forced. And I was wearing the same stuff over and again, and I just knew I was really reaching for color. I wasn't really reaching for to have my fandom or something I liked necessarily on my body. And then I took the leap of buying shorts, and the first one I bought that was a color, I believe it was like a dark brown, and that took everything from me because I remember being in the stretching area, and I felt odd looking at the mirror and seeing this. Not that there was anything wrong with it, but I just felt weird wearing them. And I never thought about it, and subconsciously I guess I did judge myself for it because I never wore them again until I outgrew them and then lost them or whatever. But recently I went on a little shopping spree of sorts on Amazon and bought myself a bunch of shorts on there, and one of them are these purple shorts, and I delayed a long time wearing those. I would put on the one that I felt would took the most mental energy to put on, which was the red ones, and kind of like threw yourself in the fire, but then it burns a little bit, so then you step back. And I kept doing that for a few weeks, but a really consistent in between was these purple shorts, and it was one that's not loud but it's not quiet either. And I put those on, and I'll probably cut this in to me doing some Bulgarians, I believe it was, that I recorded earlier in the gym. But I wore these shorts, and I remember the first time I wore them, I felt like all eyes on me. Now they're just shorts, they're nothing crazy. And I'm like, I'm not supposed to be wearing these colors, but I'm like, why? Who said that? When did they say this? And I realized it was rules that I created for myself, and I wasn't exercising the will. And so then after that, I bought more and more colored shorts, from tan to neon green, and I even have a pink one. I've yet to find the balls to wear, but I have them. And I'm like, why not? They say nothing about me, but I believe they do, and I'm exercising will. And nothing happens if I wear these things. So that was like a time where I realized, like, I'm not exercising the ability to do things that we all have. It's just shorts. And then I see it in other areas. So I'm not gonna like go at length for every one of them, but bike training in the park, right? So I've never been able to really ride a bike in youth, but growing up, I did have bikes, and I always struggled with trying to learn each time, and each time I felt the judgment of people outside, and that followed me into adulthood. And it's not until last summer where I actually went to a class, free course here in New York, and I did it. And I've gotten judgment from people, from friends, from associates that were very close to me, and I always internalized it, but I never saw it as just like a reminder of like, this is true for now, but it doesn't mean anything. It's just a bike, you know? And so I took up this thing, which felt encouraging to do around other people who don't know how to also ride a bike, but I felt the judgment of it doing it in front of people who potentially do know how to ride a bike. So I felt, okay, I could do it in this space, but I can't do it on the street because I might just die. But I also can't do it in the park because I'm in front of these people who know how to do it, and they're gonna judge me. And I probably shouldn't be doing that. I should be an expert if I'm gonna be there. And there's another moment of why? Why? Why am I doing this to myself? It's not something, there's no set rules of what you're supposed to and not supposed to do in the park besides the obvious. So it was another thing I had to tally. And I'm pretty sure there's people who still don't know how to ride today, and they're afraid and scared and all that. I'm like, I'm telling you, it's not that serious. Like, people will even help you when you do it, and that's what happened to me last summer. Pretty sure between that time and now, a whole winter has gone by, I would have to relearn some things, but I got the basics down in a weekend. So that was like a really great thing. And I journaled extensively about that when I remember. Taking pictures of things I find cool or just like. I hated the idea of being this like, just like this person that needs to document everything, whether it's like a show, a concert, something cool in my environment. I just thought it was like super cringe, and you should enjoy the moment, right? But like, the reality is, the reason why we take pictures of things is because we don't see it every day. And so if I saw something cool like a painting or an event or something, I would not want to do it. But the reality is, inside I did want to do it, but I felt it was good enough for everybody else around me to do, but when it came to me, couldn't do it. That was the delay with creating videos for this channel. It's the same kind of idea, because there's plenty of people I know that are running their own, and they have, I encourage them to do it, but it took me forever to allow myself to, and it's only judgment that's been given to me by me. And of course there would be outside voices, but usually it would be the same thing. It's just somebody being a hater, because the likelihood is they really want to do it. They're just not honest with themselves. I now tell myself, stop, take a picture of that thing. It doesn't matter. And of course sometimes I feel that anxiety, that shame boil up in me, but more times than not, I tell it to shut up, because this can be useful in some area, shape, or form, and it usually is. When I'm writing a story or something, I look back at my camera roll, I get some inspiration, bam, and I thank myself for being there and doing that, for reminding me. That's why you gotta love all versions of yourself, past, present, future. Um, Another thing is buying a red jacket. Now, I didn't do it, but last winter or this past winter, because we're moving into spring, at the beginning of it, there's this red jacket that I saw, and I really liked it, tried it on, all of that. It was in Zara. And the only reason why I didn't buy it is because I felt like it's a red jacket, it's really cool, but I can't wear it with anything else. I can't wear it with a blue outfit. And it's not until recently where I'm like, well, why not? Like, if you happen to have a blue outfit, cool. You know what I mean? I mean, I have multiple jackets. I don't. I have like 3 probably. But I'm like, why not? You know? Make it work if it works. But you don't have to limit yourself to neutral colors or no color, because you can see a common theme here is color. But because you feel like you can't pull it off with everything you have, be weird. It's probably going to get someone's attention, but in a good way, you know? Like, and I'm pretty sure I was wearing all blue that day when I was trying it on. So that's another thing. But it's just like, bro, get the thing and wear the color. It's perfectly fine. And another one, which is the last one I have here, I won't drag on these examples any longer, is walking without a destination. Now, I've always judged myself for that one, and it's because walks are really good for you. I mean, they expand the mind, they help you relax, they, burn calories. It's like, the best form of cardio, with the lowest impact. And I just couldn't ever do it if I knew that there wasn't a goal on the other side, which is the destination, if I wasn't going somewhere or something like that. So the idea of me just going on a walk outside felt like a luxury that I couldn't afford. I'm supposed to be here working, doing something, and that is something that happens after all the work is done. But I would encourage others to do it because it's a healthy thing to do, and it's something that could calm you down and chill you out and make you healthy overall, and realize that life is not that serious, except for me. For me, life is like serious. I'm supposed to stress out. I mean, the more I say it, it sounds narcissistic and, wild, but I never allowed myself to just be, especially when walking outside. And those times that I did were the most beautiful of times. This past winter, I did it a lot. Walked through the snow in Central Park alone at night, walked through the little forest they got there, the ice skating rink, all of it. And I loved it. I told myself I'm going to do that more often. And by the next week, when it comes time for where I can do it again, I convince myself, or I remember the mindset I've had over a long period of time and forget that last time. But then there's times like this where I recognize it and I see it, and I'm like, yeah, you can do it because you're allowed it, because your life is equal to everyone else's, and you can do whatever you want. You have free will. And I guess I give all these examples because though they seem very small and stupid in some way, shape, or form, it's a real everyday example of ways that we take away our free will. And it's very different from the online meme-ish version of like walking into the employees only section of McDonald's and stuff like that. It's real ways where we take away our free will. And it's in things that could potentially help us get through the day or make it just a little bit better if we just allowed ourselves to be. And really and truly, you just gotta let yourself be. I have to let myself be. You have to let yourself be. It's difficult, but know that more people aren't doing it and wish they could. And if you do it, you're likely encouraging someone to do it. Your example is showing that it's okay. And the example for me today was this morning, watching someone just bike circles around this baseball stadium I have here inside of the park that I can see. And they were just biking, that's it, inside the park, not even on the street, and is doing exactly what I wanted to do. And he's telling me it's okay to do it. And I look at these as like divine examples of free will that is thrown in my face. Like, it's okay to do this thing. And so I know that if you just take inventory of the life of the things that you wish you could do and see that it's things that are okay to do, they're within legal parameters, you should take the full opportunity to do those things and exercise true free will. Release yourself from the prison. I'm trying to do it too. I guess let's do that together.